This is Laura DeFranco, holistic physical therapist and owner of Brave Healer Productions. I'm excited to bring you my new holistic healing series where you're going to learn from the experts what it means to live fiercely alive, mind, body, and soul. I invite you now to take a breath, relax, and feel the vibe of the words my guest has to share with you today. Welcome to the show, everyone. I am super excited to have Lori Saitz here today to help me with this mission I have of changing the world one brave word at a time. In 2003, Lori Saitz launched Zen Rabbit Baking Company and introduced the world to the gratitude cookie. I want one. She became a nationally recognized expert in using gratitude in business. She's evolved with that knowledge and is now creating customized gratitude meditations to help entrepreneurial professionals manifest more good stuff and reach goals in less time. You guys are going to find her at customizedmeditation.com. And don't worry, I've got you hooked up all down there in the show notes for later. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
I can't wait to have this conversation. So first, I just want you to tell us your story. Like, how did you get to doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, well, like a lot of people's stories, it's a long and winding road. So, as you said in the introduction, in 2003, I started this company based really on a family recipe, making these gratitude cookies are kind of a cross between a butter and a sugar cookie. And I looked at it as a tool for helping businesses say thank you to their clients and to their referral sources. And that's where I really started studying the power of gratitude, not just saying thank you because it's the right thing to do. Like, did your mom make you write thank you notes after the holidays and your birthday? Like that?
Yes, she did.
Okay. But there are so many other benefits to gratitude, physical, emotional, psychological. And I started really getting into understanding what those were and incorporating that into what I was doing then. And I ran that business for 11 years, couldn't scale it really. That's the reason I shut it down, was because I couldn't scale it the way I wanted to. My background before that and since then is just marketing. So went back into some marketing consulting, and then people were asking me about networking. Like, when I started that first business, I had to also figure out how to feel comfortable walking into a room full of people where I didn't know anyone and starting a conversation. How do you break into a conversation? How do you meet people who could become clients or who could send you referrals? And so I went back to that knowledge and thought, okay, so I figured out how to do this as what I called a quiet person. Somebody who's not going to be the most gregarious person in the room, and started teaching people what I learned in terms of networking and building relationships, and did that up until the pandemic, and then had to reevaluate because nobody was going to any conferences or anything. Okay, now what? And I was asked to do a presentation, 15-minute inspirational presentation to help people through the beginning of when we all went into lockdown kind of thing. And I was asked to do it on gratitude, someone who knew me from that other life. And that kind of drew me back into this whole, let's talk about gratitude. How does it affect businesses? How can you use it in your life overall? And kind of was then inspired to create these meditations. I'll step back 1 second and say, when I was teaching the networking, I had created a 5-minute networking meditation to help people feel more grounded and calm before you walk into that room.
I was going to ask you where the tie-in was, and there it is. You know, from baking to meditations. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but it's really all about gratitude.
Yes, the energy is palpable and powerful, right? Well, one of the things you help people with, which is, I think, sort of like a foundational starting point to getting there, is you call it monkey mind, right? I've called it inner critic, and I have a mentor that calls it inner critter. So how do you explain monkey mind to people?
It's when you can't you can't get rid of the thoughts in your head. And they're just constantly, and people think that they can't meditate or they're not good at meditating because they can't clear all of the thoughts in the head. Monkey mind is just like a monkey. It's just jumping around all over the place. But we all have that, whether you're good at meditating or not, those thoughts are always running. And that is actually part of practicing meditation, is bringing yourself back to maybe your breath or to a mantra or whatever it is. Bring yourself back. Every time thoughts start running away, bring yourself back. That's part of the practice.
Had you always meditated through, like, that first baking business? Like, was that always a tool? Or did the tool come a little later when you got into this other stuff?
When I started that first business, I looked around to see what are successful business people doing? Are there any commonalities that I can figure out? And one of the things was that most of them practiced meditation. So I did not do that. Maybe that business would have turned out differently had I done it, but I did not. I knew I should, but I couldn't get myself into doing it. I just didn't. And I learned how to meditate when I was 10 years old.
Oh,
my
wow.
mom took my brother and me, to a class. And so I knew the tools. I just was choosing not to use them. And it wasn't until maybe 2-3 years ago that I really got into doing it every day, regularly.
And I would imagine it was a game changer. I've told people I don't like to use the M word, the meditation word, because people think that I mean sitting on a pillow with your legs crossed and chanting, for an hour. And while that's completely helpful and you should do that, it really can be just a few minutes of mindful presence. So if you want to use an M word, that might be a good one to use in terms of this powerful tool, right? And honestly, that subject of monkey mind is one of my favorite, and I could talk to you all day about that, but I want to jump a little bit, because talking about rewiring that monkey brain is going to be really, really powerful for the viewers. So tell us about some techniques that you help people use, to do this rewiring thing.
Yeah. So anytime you are meditating or journaling or sitting quiet, even what they call walking meditation, if you're out and you're paying attention to nature and that kind of thing, anytime you're getting quiet within yourself, you're helping to rewire your brain. So I don't know how many of your viewers and listeners have watched the documentary, The Social Dilemma, but it's pretty frightening that our minds are being rewired unconsciously. I mean, our brains are wired pretty much unconsciously anyway, but meditation and prayer and quiet and whatever it is that you do to tap into your own inner knowing, that helps you consciously rewire it to a way that works for you.
And what do you mean by, I'm going to pause you there. What do you mean by works? Because this is the power in it. What do we want to be working when we do that?
You want to be tapping into your own inner knowledge. What is it that you, as a soul or spirit, or however you want to describe that inner power that you have, that truth that that is based in love and not fear? The outer world wants to I don't know, control sounds a little strong, but to get you to believe what they want you to believe. But what do you believe? What is your truth? And so when you turn everything else off, then you can hear what is true for you. Everybody has their own truth. Not that everybody knows what is true and what is right for you, for yourself.
Yes, agreed completely. Okay, so the first technique to think about is really just getting still, getting quiet. Well, add to that, what would you say about that first step, especially for someone who is one of those ones who says, I could never meditate, I've never been able to relax. I hear that so often.
Yeah. And that's why it's called a practice.
Yes.
You keep doing it. It's harder in the beginning and it gets easier. I'm not going to say it gets super easy. And 3 years meditating regularly is virtually nothing really. But my mind still wanders. People who've done it for 20 years, their mind still wanders, but less and less and less. And so whether you listen to music or whatever, some people like a guided meditation because it helps keep their mind focused. And that's part of the power of what I'm doing with the customized meditations is again, it helps quiet monkey mind because you're hearing, your brain is hearing things that it's familiar with. So it keeps it more focused and on track. But whatever it is that works, it's just a matter of doing it. Like committing to doing it is probably the biggest thing.
Let's talk more about the customized meditation now, because you mentioned it and I'm so interested, because I know that when I've listened to guided versions, that has been very helpful. And I do both things. I have just quiet time and I really enjoy that. But there are other times, for whatever reason, that guided thing really helps me.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us more about what you do, what this service is.
Yeah. So I, again, looked at how can I help entrepreneurial professionals? It seems to be my sweet spot. So if the most successful, high performing business leaders are practicing meditation, it would make sense that anyone who wants to be successful, and however you define successful, would follow that lead, would practice meditation. And still people have this issue of my mind is running all over the place and it's hard. And so then tapping into the whole gratitude thing. So when people feel gratitude or express gratitude, it again affects the way the brain functions. And so I thought, okay, if I take getting somebody to feel the gratitude, like genuinely when somebody does something nice for you and you have like this flood of feeling good, it's because your brain is releasing serotonin and dopamine, feel good chemicals that come from feeling gratitude. So I wanted to get people into feeling gratitude, into that feeling place. And the way I consider doing it, the way I do it is, tell me what you have felt gratitude for in the past. What things, experiences, memories, people have been in your life, come into your life that you feel gratitude for. And it's easy to feel gratitude for things that have happened because you can visualize those. Okay, so I get you into a feeling place.
Which, by the way, is like law of attraction 101, you guys. So like this thing that she's talking about right now and getting you into a feeling state of it, there is no more powerful foundation for your manifestation practice than this, seriously. So sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to make that one comment because people don't realize how powerful it is to get into the state you're talking about.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
So
and it's not always easy. So this helps.
Right.
This helps you do that. So you're visualizing and you're feeling. And I'm telling your brain what to think about so it doesn't wander, to get you to that place. And then what do you have in your life currently that you're grateful for? And let's go to the place of feeling the gratitude for that. And now, what are you, this is the part where people get a little, it's a little more difficult. What are you grateful for that has not actually manifested into your physical form yet? But because you're coming from feeling gratitude for the past, feeling gratitude for the current, it's easier to slip into feeling gratitude for future or things that you want to, things that you are manifesting right now. And so then I put you into the visualizing and feeling for that. And like you said, so much more powerful to draw it. That's why you can reach your goals faster, because you're visualizing and feeling.
That's what I want to ask you about next. I've got a couple of questions about how you're creating techniques and tools to help entrepreneurs do things like reach their goals faster. Before we go there, though, can you please tell me about your little bear behind you?
My friend Christine sent me this bear for my birthday last year.
I was just like looking at you and noticing that kind of his blanket matches your shirt. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, look at that. I didn't even plan it that way.
That's awesome. Okay, so how cool that you have created a way to conjure up the feeling of it first with something that we already can do that with. And then you transition them into something that they maybe want, don't have, but still need to keep that feeling to manifest, right? So I love that.
Right.
I'm just summarizing that a little bit. So how can this help us reach our business goals faster?
Well, if you're feeling and visualizing those business goals through this meditation, as you mentioned, the law of attraction, it's kind of like magic. I don't know how else to describe it. It's crazy.
The other M word that we shouldn't be using.
Yeah.
I'm teasing you. Like, it is magic, you guys. I mean, it really feels like magic. And I'll go back to what you said. It's practice. It is a practice, right? And that's why guides like you are so important. And also tools like this are so important. Something very easy, I'm assuming a digital recording, we can just hit play on, put our earphones on and be like in the state pretty quickly.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. That's how it works. And then I put music underneath the recording, again, to keep your brain engaged and get it into a deeper state of relaxation. And then, yeah, I mean, it's because we're energetic beings. The way that I figure the magic is working is because, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about quantum physics, but I know that it has, it's that, again, the attraction, the energetic, you're putting the energy into the feeling and the visualizing. And so you're making it clear to whatever you believe in, a higher power, universe, whatever words you want to use to describe it. This is what I am this is my intention. This is what I want. So you're just drawing it. It's like you become a magnet. There's another M word.
Yeah, there's a lot of M words out there. So, I mean, you use this tool and these tools in your business in a lot of different ways, not just to, reach the goals faster, but talk to me a little bit more about how I can use the tools in my business beyond that.
Well, so the other thing, in addition to becoming a magnet, to magnetizing these things, is that it also gives you a sense of calm and peace of mind and groundedness, which is, I mean, it's sometimes difficult to get to that place regardless of what's happening. But right now, with everything that's happening in the world, a lot of people are really struggling with that. And so that happens right away. Like, you can come out of the meditation and you just feel so much calmer. So that when you get to that place and more focused, that's helping you make better decisions right now.
So what about attracting clients?
You can put that into the meditation and draw that. So a couple of different ways. Yes, because you're asking that for that, and it's drawing it to it energetically. But again, when you're more focused, when you're more calm, and you're working from that place every day, you are focused on, what do I need to do? So, okay, that's one thing I want to mention. This is not doing the meditation and not doing the work. Like, you're not going to sit on your couch and money's going to fall from the sky and you do nothing else. Like, you still have to take the actions, but things and people and resources start showing up in what you might call a coincidence. It just seems like they happen more frequently and faster. And I'm speaking from personal experience because I honestly just started, it's only been a couple of months since I've been doing my own customized meditation, and I see what's happening, and it's incredible.
So how often do you listen to yours?
every day.
What's your strategy with this? Every day, just a few minutes a day? Is that a good plan?
Typically the meditations that I'm creating are 15 to 20 minutes, because it takes you that long to get you into going through the past, current, future. So I tend to listen in the morning before I get out of bed. But if I don't, I will do a meditation every morning, whether it's my own or something else. And if I don't do my own in the morning, I will listen to it at night before I fall asleep.
So tell us more about like how we can connect with you for this service, what kinds of programs you're offering. And I know you guys are going to, you'll be able to pop down to the show notes. Customizedmeditation.com is where you can take that next step with Lori. But tell us a little bit about what you have going on right now.
Yeah. So the other place to connect with me is on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm on all the social medias, but LinkedIn is really where I spend a lot of time. And I'm always posting things about gratitude and how it affects the physical, the emotional. So if you want to learn more about the gratitude in general, not just talking about the meditations, but the whole concepts, that's a great place to connect with me there. So yeah, and I'm considering how I'm doing lunch and learns for groups, for businesses. If somebody wants to have me come in and talk to their team, okay, come in, okay, virtually or
yes,
however you want to do it. And yeah, now I'm getting asked to do group meditations. So
nice.
in not just talking about the gratitude, but leading an actual meditation, which certainly wouldn't be customized, but it would still help with the groundedness, the calmness, that you get a little taste of it.
All right. So if I want one of these, you'll work with me, ask me some questions, help to understand what my goals are and what I'm after. And then based on what you learn about me and my business and my intentions and goals, you'll create this specifically for me.
Correct.
That's the idea. Good. All right. I want everyone to understand how powerful this can be. You can buy a lot of guided meditation, but you can't really buy a lot of customized meditations. And that's what I loved so much when I learned about you and what you did. Think about fine tuning the power that you already know. If you already know how this works, then you know that customizing it could be an incredible game changer. So, okay, I got one more question for you, Lori.
Okay.
What do you love to do so much you lose track of time?
Baking.
Baking, of
once
course.
I stopped doing it as a business. No, but I've always loved it. I think that's what drew me into making it a business. But sometimes when you make it a business, then you don't love it as much anymore. But yeah, when I'm in the kitchen, and I still get stressed out, even though you meditate every day. Sometimes things still come. We're all human. Yeah, you'll find me in the kitchen. I'm baking, I'm cooking. I would love to I need more people to eat what I make.
You can send me cookies. I'm ready.
Okay.
I love baking as well. And I love actually this particular year with having a little bit extra time at home. That was a gift for me to have the time to be in the kitchen so that I wasn't rushing. Yeah. And I could slow down and actually taste the food and smell the smells and be with my, kids in the kitchen doing that together. It's been really great. So I hear you about the baking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's also just a feeling of gratitude, of course, going back to our whole talk today.
Yeah.
Lori, thank you so much for what you're doing in the world and for being here to share it with us.
Thanks for having me.
So viewers, thank you for being here and watching. If you heard something that you loved, take the next step, drop down into those show notes where you're going to find Lori's info and get to explore customizedmeditation.com. And do go explore. Who knows? There might just be something you haven't learned yet that could change everything for you. And hit that subscribe button while you're at it, you guys. Thank you so much for being part of the Brave Healer Revolution. See you next time. Thank you, Lori.
Bye.
Bye. Love what you heard today. Don't forget to drop down and hit that subscribe button, you guys, and then join me over at bravehealer.com for just a little bit more healing badassery. Have a great one.